Your eyes are changing right now, tonight, while you sleep. And most people over 60 have no idea it's happening. Not because of aging, not because of genetics, because of what you are and are not eating in the hours before you close your eyes. There are four fruits that your retina, your optic nerve, and the delicate blood vessels feeding your vision are actively waiting for at night. And the research on this is not new. It's been sitting in clinical journals for years. Your doctor simply never had the 20 minutes to walk you through it. That changes right now. My name is Dr. Elena Marsh. I've spent more than 2 decades in clinical medicine, and a significant part of that time has been spent watching patients arrive in my office having already lost something, sometimes quietly, over years, that they didn't have to lose. Vision is one of the most common, and one of the most preventable. The data is clear. A landmark study published in Ophthalmology, the Journal of the American Academy of Ophthalmology, found that dietary antioxidant intake, specifically the compounds found in certain fruits, is directly associated with a measurable reduction in the progression of age-related macular degeneration and other forms of retinal damage in adults over 60. What I'm going to share with you today isn't a supplement protocol. It isn't a prescription. It's 4 specific fruits, the exact time to eat them, and the precise biological reason your eyes need them most while you sleep. Before we go any further, quick question. Do you eat any fruit in the evening, after dinner, before bed? Type yes or no in the comments right now. I read every single one. To understand why these 4 fruits work, and why timing matters as much as which fruit you choose, you need to understand what is actually happening inside your eyes every single night. Most people think of sleep as a period of rest. And for most of the body, that's true. But your eyes are doing something very different. While you sleep, your retinal cells enter an active repair cycle. The photoreceptors, the rods and cones responsible for your ability to detect light, color, and detail, undergo a process called phagocytosis of spent outer segments. In plain terms, the retina is breaking down and removing the cellular debris that accumulated throughout the day from light exposure. This process is managed by a layer of cells called the retinal pigment epithelium, or RPE. These cells work through the night, and they depend directly on a specific class of antioxidant compounds to complete that repair without generating oxidative damage in the process. Here's why that matters for you specifically. After 60, the RPE becomes less efficient. Decades of light exposure, low-grade inflammation, and the natural decline of antioxidant production inside the eye mean that the nightly repair cycle is running on a smaller and smaller reserve. The result is a process called oxidative stress accumulation, a buildup of reactive oxygen species inside the retinal tissue that, over time, damages the very cells responsible for central vision. This is the biological foundation of age-related macular degeneration. It is also the biological foundation of accelerated cataract formation, reduced night vision, and the slow, painless narrowing of visual field that millions of adults over 60 experience and mistake for normal aging. It is not normal aging. It is a nutrient deficit that compounds every night you go to sleep without addressing it. And this is where the 4 fruits come in. Each one contains a specific compound, or combination of compounds, that does one of 3 things. It feeds the RPE repair cycle directly, it suppresses the oxidative stress that disrupts it, or it protects the blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the retina in the first place. A second major study, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, followed more than 3,000 adults over 15 years and found that individuals with the highest dietary intake of lutein, zeaxanthin, and anthocyanins had a 35% lower risk of developing advanced macular degeneration compared to those with the lowest intake. 35%, not from a medication, from food. Stay with me, Because in the next section, I'm going to explain exactly how each of these four fruits works inside your eye, which specific compound is doing the work, and why eating them before bed, not in the morning, not at lunch, gives your retina what it needs precisely when it needs it most. The first fruit is kiwi. And I want to start here because kiwi is the one most people would never guess, and the one with some of the strongest clinical data behind it specifically for nighttime eye repair. Kiwi is one of the most concentrated dietary sources of lutein and zeaxanthin available in whole fruit form. These two compounds are not simply antioxidants in the general sense. They are the only dietary carotenoids that cross the blood-retina barrier and deposit directly into the macula, the small central region of your retina responsible for the sharp, detailed vision you use to read, recognize faces, and drive. Your body cannot produce lutein or zeaxanthin on its own. Every microgram present in your macula came from food, and after 60, the macular pigment density, the concentration of these compounds in the tissue, begins to decline measurably unless it is actively replenished through diet. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that adults who consumed 2 kiwi fruits daily for 12 weeks showed a significant increase in macular pigment optical density compared to a control group. Macular pigment is your retina's internal filter against high-energy blue light, the same light that accumulates as oxidative damage during every waking hour. Eating kiwi before bed delivers lutein and zeaxanthin directly into circulation during the hours when your RPE is most actively absorbing nutrients for the repair cycle. 1 to 2 kiwis, eaten 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. That is the window. The second fruit is tart cherry, not sweet cherry. Tart cherry, also called sour cherry, most commonly available as a small whole fruit, or in unsweetened dried form. Tart cherries are one of the richest known dietary sources of anthocyanins, a class of flavonoid compounds that do something specific and critical for your eyes that lutein and zeaxanthin do not. Anthocyanins target the blood vessels, specifically the microvasculature, the network of extremely fine capillaries that supply the retina with oxygen and the nutrients it needs to function and repair overnight. After 60, these vessels become progressively more vulnerable to inflammation and oxidative damage. When microvascular integrity degrades, the retina receives less oxygen. Less oxygen means slower repair. Slower repair means accelerating damage. This is one of the primary mechanisms behind diabetic retinopathy, glaucomatous optic nerve damage, and the vascular form of macular degeneration. 3 conditions that affect millions of adults over 60 and that share this single upstream vulnerability. Anthocyanins from tart cherry have been shown in research published in the European Journal of Nutrition to reduce markers of vascular oxidative stress and improve microcirculatory function. For your eyes specifically, that means better blood flow to the retina during the night, during the exact hours when the repair cycle depends on that supply. A small handful of tart cherries, or 2 tablespoons of unsweetened dried tart cherries, 60 minutes before bed. The third fruit is papaya. And papaya earns its place on this list for a reason that has nothing to do with the eye directly, and everything to do with what destroys it. Papaya is exceptionally high in beta-cryptoxanthin, a provitamin A carotenoid that the body converts into retinol, the active form of vitamin A that is essential for the function of rhodopsin, the photopigment in your rod cells, responsible for low light and night vision. Most people over 60 are not clinically deficient in vitamin A, but many are in the lower range of sufficiency, a state where rhodopsin regeneration slows, night vision degrades gradually, and the protective epithelial lining of the eye becomes more fragile. This manifests as difficulty adjusting from bright light to dim environments, increased glare sensitivity at night, and the sense that your eyes take longer to recover after looking at a screen or a bright window. Papaya also contains the enzyme papain and a significant concentration of vitamin C. And this combination matters because vitamin C is one of the primary antioxidants present in the aqueous humor, the fluid that fills the front chamber of your eye. Maintaining adequate vitamin C in that fluid is directly linked to reduced intraocular oxidative stress and lower long-term risk of cataract formation. Half a cup of fresh papaya 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. The fourth fruit is blueberry. And blueberry completes this protocol in a way the other three cannot, because blueberry targets the optic nerve. You've been eating fruit your whole life. No one ever told you it was reaching your eyes while you slept. It was, every night, or not reaching them. And the difference, compounded over years, is the difference between the vision you have at 75 and the vision you could have had. The optic nerve carries visual information from your retina to your brain. It is composed of more than 1 million nerve fibers, and it is under pressure, literally. Intraocular pressure, the fluid pressure inside your eye, exerts a continuous mechanical force on the optic nerve head. Over time, particularly in adults over 60, this pressure contributes to the gradual compression and loss of those nerve fibers. It is the central mechanism of glaucoma, a disease that steals peripheral vision so slowly that most people don't notice it until significant damage has already occurred. Blueberries contain a specific anthocyanin profile dominated by delphinidin and cyanidin that has been shown in research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry to improve ocular blood flow and reduce oxidative stress at the level of the optic nerve head. They also contain pterostilbene, a compound structurally similar to resveratrol that crosses the blood-brain barrier and has demonstrated neuroprotective effects in retinal ganglion cells, the specific cells that form the optic nerve fibers. A half cup of fresh or frozen blueberries eaten within 60 minutes of sleep. Has your doctor ever explained this connection to you, that specific fruits consumed before bed provide targeted protection to your retina, your macula, and your optic nerve during the night? Write never or yes in the comments right now. Now here's what most people miss entirely. And it's the reason timing matters as much as which fruit you choose. The nutrients in these four fruits, lutein, zeaxanthin, anthocyanins, beta-cryptoxanthin, vitamin C, are fat-soluble or fat-assisted in their absorption. Lutein and zeaxanthin in particular require the presence of dietary fat to be absorbed efficiently through the intestinal wall and transported into circulation. Eating these fruits on an empty stomach, or without any fat present, significantly reduces how much of the active compound actually reaches your bloodstream, and therefore your retina. This is why the protocol I'm about to give you is not simply a list of fruits. It is a sequence, a specific combination with a specific window and a specific delivery mechanism that maximizes what your eyes actually receive during the hours they need it most. Stay with me, because the protocol starts tonight. It costs nothing, and it takes less than 5 minutes to prepare. Here is exactly what I want you to do, starting tonight. This is called the Nighttime Vision Shield Protocol. 4 fruits, 1 small addition, a precise window, and a biological reason behind every single step. Step 1. 60 minutes before bed, eat 1 small handful of fresh or frozen blueberries, approximately half a cup. If fresh blueberries are not available, frozen blueberries are equally effective. The freezing process does not degrade the anthocyanin content. What matters is that you eat them whole, not in juice form. Commercial blueberry juice has had the fiber and a significant portion of the polyphenol content removed in processing. You want the whole fruit. The reason for starting with blueberries 60 minutes before the others is timing of absorption. The delphinidin and cyanidin anthocyanins in blueberries begin entering circulation within 30 to 45 minutes of consumption. By the time you fall asleep, they are already reaching the optic nerve head and the retinal ganglion cells, precisely when the pressure gradient inside your eye is at its lowest point of the night and the tissue is most receptive to vascular support. You are not eating blueberries and hoping for the best. You are delivering a specific compound to a specific tissue at the specific moment when that tissue can use it most efficiently. Step 2. 45 minutes before bed, eat 1 to 2 kiwis, skin removed, alongside a small amount of healthy fat. This is the step most people skip, and it is the step that determines how much lutein and zeaxanthin your body actually absorbs. A quarter of an avocado, 5 or 6 raw walnuts, a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil drizzled over the kiwi if you prefer. The fat source is not the point. Any healthy fat present in your digestive system at the same time as the kiwi will significantly improve carotenoid absorption. The reason this matters is that lutein and zeaxanthin are incorporated into lipid micelles in the small intestine before they can cross the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. Without fat present, that process is incomplete, and the compounds pass through without being absorbed at the level your retina requires. A study in the Journal of Nutrition demonstrated that carotenoid absorption from the same food source increased by more than threefold when consumed alongside a modest amount of dietary fat compared to consumption without fat. Threefold. That is not a marginal difference. That is the difference between feeding your macula and simply eating fruit. You came into this video not knowing that your retina has a repair cycle that runs every single night while you sleep, and that what you eat in the hour before bed determines how well that cycle runs. You're leaving with 4 specific fruits, the exact sequence to eat them, and the precise biological reason each one works. That is not general wellness advice. That is clinical nutrition applied to the most preventable form of vision loss affecting adults over 60. The nighttime vision shield protocol costs nothing. It requires no prescription. It starts tonight. Your eyes have been doing their best every night with whatever they had available. Now you know what they were waiting for. There is someone in your life, a spouse, a sibling, a parent, a close friend, who is over 60 and whose vision is quietly changing right now. They haven't connected it to what they eat. They haven't connected it to what happens at night while they sleep. Nobody told them. This video can reach them before it matters most. Share it with them today. Not for this channel, but because the information their doctor never had time to give them is right here. And it costs them nothing to use it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that now. Every week, I bring honest, research-based information about what your body needs after 60. The information I wish every patient had before they ended up sitting across from me. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Everything I've shared today is based on published research and clinical experience. It is not a substitute for your personal medical care. The Nighttime Vision Shield Protocol is a nutritional approach grounded in peer-reviewed evidence. It is not a treatment for any diagnosed eye condition. If you have macular degeneration, glaucoma, cataracts, diabetic retinopathy, or any other condition affecting your vision, please continue working with your ophthalmologist. Bring this information into that conversation. Ask about lutein, zeaxanthin, anthocyanins, and beta-cryptoxanthin. Ask how your diet is supporting your eye health specifically. That is exactly where good medicine begins, with an informed patient and a doctor who has the time to listen.